Good afternoon, the media news. I am Adeleke Amo. The federal government's electricity tariff subsidy jumped from 610 billion naira in 2023 to 1.94 trillion naira in 2024, representing a 219.67% increase in yearly subsidy funding despite the Band A tariff hike last year. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission and analysts observed that the subsidy figures rose following the floating of the naira by President Bola Tinubu in June 2024, as well as the removal of few subsidies leading to high inflation rates. According to the Commission, the federal government incurred a total electricity tariff subsidy of 1.94 trillion naira in 2024 to cover the shortfall between the cost-reflective tariffs and the actual tariffs approved for customers. It was reported that the federal government paid only 371.34 million naira out of the 1.94 trillion naira subsidy obligation for 2024. This translates to 0.019% settlement. Report says that the cost was higher than the amount incurred as subsidies in 2023. In the 2024 annual report, NEC explained that the government undertook to fund the gap through tariff shortfall provisions, particularly after freezing customers' tariff at December 2022 levels. According to the report, the freeze persisted despite a sharp rise in cost-reflective tariffs driven by macroeconomic pressures, especially foreign exchange rate volatility. No fewer than 420 federal roads, bridges, and other infrastructure projects have been completed or significantly in an advanced stage within the last 2 years. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Works, Barinada Mpigi, disclosed this during the 33rd Conference of the Council of Registered Engineers of Nigeria in Abuja. Senator Mpigi, in his goodwill message at the opening ceremony of the event, represented by Ashley Emenike, described engineers as indispensable drivers of Nigeria's development, noting that their work forms the backbone of the country's economic growth, infrastructure expansion, and industrial advancement. He further declared that Nigerian engineers are not merely technical experts, but also strategic nation builders who deliver a central role in policy making. Development at the grassroots level across the state has been ongoing unabated despite the strike embarked upon by members of the Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees (NULGE) in the states. This is sequel to Governor Adeleke's passion for even distribution of dividends of democracy in all the nooks and crannies of the state. Commissioner for Rural Development and Community Affairs Alhaji Gani Olaoluwa disclosed this during an interview with OSBC News. The commissioner pointed out that no fewer than 900 boreholes have been sunk by the Ministry of Rural Development and Community Affairs for the use of rural dwellers, while several transformers were also distributed to towns and villages to make life comfortable for the people. Other social amenities provided for the rural communities across the state, according to the commissioner, include motorable roads through the Osun Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project (ORAMP) to enable farmers transport their farm produce to markets in urban centers with ease. The rest include renovation of schools in deplorable conditions, renovation and construction of primary health centers, construction of public toilets, and rural electrification, among others, through the Community and Social Development Agency. Alhaji Olaoluwa commended the community development associations in the state for their unalloyed support for Governor Adeleke's administration, noting that such cooperation has been the catalyst for the development being witnessed throughout the state. The state government, through the Ministry of Environment and Sanitation, is actively implementing flood control measures by dredging waterways and canals, as well as clearing debris across the state. Commissioner for Environment and Sanitation, Honorable Mayowa Adejorin, stated this when he featured as a guest on an OSBC program. The Commissioner for Environment and Sanitation added that his ministry is also educating residents on responsible waste disposal and enforcing sanitation policies, especially in urban centers. Honorable Adejorin noted that due to the state's government's commitment to flood control, no single case of flooding was recorded in Osun throughout last year, while many states were negatively affected by floods. He also pointed out that the Nigerian Meteorological Agency NIMET specifically commended the proactive steps taken by Governor Adeleke's administration to prevent flood across the state last year. The Commissioner for Environment and Sanitation cautioned the people of the state to desist from indiscriminate dumping of refuse, warning that anyone caught will face the wrath of the law, while advising house owners whose properties are blocking waterways to remove those structures with a view to allowing free flow of water in flood-prone areas. The Commissioner warned that henceforth the government will not hesitate to remove any house built illegally on waterways. Federal government is assured that it would uphold the dignity and image of the Buhari family. The assurance was given by the government during the 3-day prayer for the repose of the soul of the late former President Muhammadu Buhari in Daura, Katsina State. Vice President Kashim Shettima, who led a team comprising 25 ministers to the solemn occasion, acknowledged Buhari's commitment to national development, charged Nigerians not to allow his vision for the country to fade. The Vice President described late Buhari as a sincere and justice-driven leader whose legacy will endure in the annals of Nigeria and African history. He added that the former president, even in death, had proved to the world that he was truly one of Africa's greatest sons. Moving on to sport, Zambian captain Baraba Banda has said the Copper Queen only respects but have no fear for Super Falcons of Nigeria. Nora Optoli's side would take on Nigeria in a quarter-final fixture at the Laribo Zaoli Stadium, Casablanca. The Super Falcons are the most successful side in the history of the competition with 9 titles. The West Africans also boast of some of best players on the continent. Ahead of the highly anticipated encounter, Banda declared that they are fully ready for battle against Justin Magudu's side. The coach said the team are so ready for the game, back with good morale and looking forward to tomorrow's game, adding that tonight's encounter will kick off at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And from the foreign scene, Paul Biya has announced that he would once again be a candidate at the next presidential election as he overhauled his military. Top ranks in Cameroon's armed forces were reshuffled following a decree published this week. Analysts say that the promotion and changes at the head of infantry, air force, and navy are a way for Biya to make sure the army will support his re-election bid. The head of state promoted a colonel of the National Gendarmerie and 5 army officers to the rank of brigadier general. 8 brigadier generals were lifted up to the rank of major general, while a captain was given the rank of rear admiral. At 92 years old, Biya is Africa's oldest head of state and has long relied on powerful security forces to uphold his grip on the presidency, which he took in 1982. Still on the foreign scene, Russia drone and bomb fire has killed at least 6 people across Ukraine's east and south as Russia resists U.S. President Donald Trump's call to halt its invasion. It was reported that Moscow has escalated long-range area attacks on Ukraine's town and cities, as well as frontline assaults and shelling over the past weeks, defying Trump's warning it could face massive new sanctions if no peace deal is struck. It added that the latest strikes killed at least 3 people in the Dnipropetrovsk area, an important industrial mining territory, under increasing pressure from Russia's attack. Ukraine said Russia fired 35 long-range drones overnight, a relatively low number compared to the several hundred Moscow is capable of launching. Moscow said it shot down 73 Ukrainian drones over its territory, including 10 it said were heading for the capital, Moscow. That ends the midday news on OSBC TV. Join us at 3 for the state news. Good afternoon.